Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Interruptor podcast. We have a very special guest today. Before I introduce her, I would like to say one of the reasons why we're doing this pod is we're looking for deep discussions with people about spirituality, about other things, and also we're looking for inspiring people who are not often necessarily in the limelight, who are doing the thing in the background. So today we have Louise Foster. She is Gibraltar's leading vegan cook. She is an incredible rock climber. She's a photographer. She's a spiritual seeker. She is an activist for positive change in society, animal welfare, marine life. Welcome, Claire.
Lovely to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So maybe to start, you can tell people about your background. Where does your accent come from, and what's the story?
Well, I'm originally from Gibraltar, and we moved to Canada when I was around 11 years old. I lived there for quite a few years, and I moved back about probably 10 years ago, but then I left to volunteer with Sheperd for quite a few years. Then I came back. I've been back for like 6 months now.
Oh, only 6 months?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So you're basically Janita, but you have been in different places. You traveled a lot. We're going to talk about this a little bit as well. That's really interesting. Maybe we start with your latest project, the photography project.
Yes. So I've done a lot. I've worked as a commercial photographer in Canada.
Oh.
I went to Sheperd College, which is a very well-known commercial photography.
Which city is it?
It's in Oakville.
Oh.
It's in Ontario. Not
Nice.
too far from Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I worked as a photographer there, and in Gibraltar there isn't too much commercial photography, but because I want to make more of an impact here, I've started doing boudoir photography, because I believe it's a very positive thing to do for the women here, because it's something that you don't really see too much. Like, you don't see...
Can you explain a bit more? Like, what does it entail? How does it work?
Okay, well, myself and a very good friend, Jaden Fa, we have a local business, The Visionaries, which is something I'm doing outside of being a vegan chef. We shoot a lot of different things. Like, he's heavy into beauty photography and incredibly successful. And right now, because I just moved back to Gib, I'm embarking on my own little side project, which is boudoir photography. I'm hoping to help women feel more comfortable and empowered in their bodies, to see their beauty in their individual shape, to be more connected to their sensual side.
So how does that look like? They can book you and you go to their home or to another place and you will shoot their bodies, not necessarily nude, but everything in between.
Yeah, it's like however much skin you wish to show. It's elegant, it's tasteful.
Classy.
Classy. I will either visit the person's home, and sometimes I do have a place available to shoot in. And I'll just create like a nice, comfortable mood. I have lighting that I bring with me, gear, and yeah, it's a very rewarding process for the person that I am shooting. And I get to know someone and help make them feel empowered in their body, which is something that's really important for me.
Yeah, I feel these days now with social media, especially for young women, there's a lot of pressure. You see all these supermodels, and then this has definitely like a negative impact on young people. I mean, the same for boys with other things as well. But what do you think? When you look at society and this time we live in, what's your view on this? Like people's body image, their self-love.
I think there's a strive towards perfectionism. That's always been kind of the case, but now it's like, I think it's really like crazy high.
Yeah.
Like, to have a tiny waist, this and that, all these expectations that actually aren't natural. And then nowadays you see like a lot of corsets being sold, tiny waist, this and that. But it's just the way you position your body. It doesn't have to be Photoshop. You're not going to naturally look like you have a tiny waist if you're standing straight. Like, you angle yourself, you do this, you do that. And if you're able to sort of see your body in this way, you'll understand that it's not just Photoshop. It's actually your natural shapes, natural forms. And things will become much more organic for people.
So you're working like with, the positive aspects of like a normal body, right?
Exactly, a normal body.
Wow.
Exactly.
And what's your intent? Do you want to show people their own beauty?
I do. I want everybody to see just how beautiful they are with shapes that their body can create that no one else can.
Wow.
And that's your strength.
I love that. That's good.
Yeah, your body has a beautiful shape that you have yet to see because no one has photographed you in that way. And that's where I come in. That's why I want to help. Like, I want people to see themselves in a different way.
Wow. And what's your view on this question? Like, of course, if you want to get better, let's say I want to lose weight, then of course I have to strive for another version of myself.
Yeah, exactly. A future self
yeah.
instead of the now self, which is perfect.
So what do you think is the right way? Like, to love yourself as you are? Or to also say, well, but the things I can change, like weight, I want to change.
Yeah.
Maybe without clobbering yourself, no?
Well, I think it's just if you just look at yourself as a whole and you want to become a healthier individual, not base it on how you're going to look as a result.
Exactly. You know, I mean, that would be my next thing. Exactly. You know, like, there's also inner beauty, there is energy, there's many other things, no? Like, not necessarily physical beauty. But what you're trying to do, as I understand, is basically you want to show the... like, that's what I find interesting. Like, as a photographer, you obviously want to show a certain thing, a certain angle, no? Of what you see yourself. So it sounds to me like it's an encouragement for people, no? To also see their own beauty, which maybe is not in line with the social standards. Is that correct?
Well, I feel like nowadays there are a lot of influences that are all different shapes. There's certain ones, not everyone, that tell you to embrace your body in the way it is.
Yeah, so is there any way how Gibraltar can support you with that project, or how does it work?
Well, right now, it seems like a lot of the women here are hesitant to do this. I'm having a bit of a hard time finding people to do it because they're just shy. They're not comfortable, and I just need sort of a way to make people, or like the women that I'm trying to shoot, know that you're going to be okay. Like, you may feel uncomfortable with yourself now, being vulnerable in front of the lens, but the end result will make you feel so empowered, and it's hard to get them to see that when they feel a certain way in the beginning.
And clients, do they have also a say in what they want to...
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Wow, I think that's a fantastic idea. These things, you know, if they are done with elegance and...
Exactly, yeah.
What's the right word? Niveau? No? What do you say in English?
Elegance is a good word, though.
Yeah, elegance.
Class,
that's the word. Class.
Yeah.
If it's done in a classy way, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. If it's not classy, then it would be considered something else.
Exactly. And if you want to see her work, I guess there's some pictures.
Yeah, we're going to be posting a lot more on the Visionaries as well, so that you'll have a bit more of an idea of what it is we're doing.
Very good. Let's talk about your rock climbing. Yeah.
Well, I started rock climbing when I moved to Gibraltar because I happened to make a friend with this Spanish lady that I worked with, and she introduced me to a group. I used to go to Manilva all the time. Completely fell in love with it.
Wow. And do I understand correctly, you also do sometimes free climbing? Like without any protection?
Well, yeah, like it's bouldering and...
So what, if you fall, you're dead?
No, you just fall on like a mat. And if you're climbing outdoors, you're climbing with people and they usually like watch out for you.
Wow.
But I think the scariest kind of climbing is deep-water solo that you can do here, which isn't that far away.
Yeah.
Close to Sandy Bay, and you just fall into the water.
Wow. And what motivated you to start that?
First of all, like I love nature. I love being physical. And just like the act of climbing, you just feel really connected to nature.
Wow.
And it's therapeutic because you need to be totally focused. You have to maintain a certain level of fitness. And the community is amazing.
What about the risk? Do you like that?
I wouldn't say it's too risky though.
No.
No, I think like going down on a mountain bike down a hill is probably more risky in a sense.
You know, when I was younger in Germany, I used to be a pilot, like a glider pilot. And I was very wild. We did wild things. And a few times almost really bad things happened. So I really changed and became really risk averse, you know.
Oh, okay.
Do you have the same thing? Like, did something happen where you... No?
No, the only thing, I was in a really bad car accident, so I don't drive
really?
anymore, but yeah.
When did this happen?
Oh, when I was in my early 20s in Canada.
Oh.
The car, I was alone. I totaled the car. Like.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So regarding the climbing, you know, it's funny because what I often say, when you stand at the cliff, the truth comes out. You know what I mean with that is like, regarding, for example, spiritual growth and so on. If it's in a comfort zone and you know everything is good, it's easy to talk. But when you're standing at the cliff, you know, then the real truth comes out. Is there any element, or am I interpreting too much? Like, is there anything with rock climbing where you either...
I have zero fear of heights.
Okay.
Yeah. Zero fear of heights. But the thing with a lot of climbers, you have a fear of falling.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine. I mean, you can...
But mostly when you're climbing, sport climbing, but you're only going to fall to your next quick draw. So you're not going to like be falling. It's actually not that dangerous, but the act itself of falling.
So that means this little hook which is in the rock.
Yeah.
So if you fall, you're going to fall to the next one, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, but you will hurt yourself anyways.
Not too much. Sometimes I banged a knee or like this, but nothing major. It's quite safe.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's very cool. So would you not say that there's any really deep aspect which gets you to do that? Is it really like more a sport which you picked up, or is it like...
It's like a meditative state you get
right.
when you're climbing.
Okay.
100%. That's why I tell you, like, you live... It's very much in the moment. You have to really think about what it is you're doing, your next move. You have to plan it out.
Right,
Your
exactly.
breath.
I mean, that's as much in the moment as you can be.
It is, yeah.
Right.
And if you want to get super in the moment, you trad climb. Trad climbing is the scariest kind of climbing because you're putting the gear in like crevices and holes in the rock.
Right.
And if you don't put the gear in well, if you fall, the gear comes out with you.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
And I've seen videos of like lots of gear falling out as the person's falling. So
Sure.
when you trad climb, you try not to fall at all.
But that makes sense what you said. So it's literally like living in the moment, like to the fullest. You know, it's funny that you say that because recently I realized, personally, you know, a few years ago I was really all about mindfulness and being in the moment, yeah. And recently, like last weekend, yeah, I tried to just calm down and, you know, my brain would automatically switch into like, oh, what's the next to-do list? What you gotta do? You know what I mean? Like I lost it.
Yeah.
So I realized, like, listen, I have to retrain mindfulness. You know, just because you were mindful a few years ago doesn't mean that you still are. Has to always train yourself. Well, that makes sense. So yeah, living the moment to the fullest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in Gibraltar, there's a small community who does it a lot, no?
Yeah, definitely. Like we have group chats, like WhatsApp groups, and we meet up. There's a Roja. We have a bit of climbing there. You can traverse on the big wall. In the jungle, there's a bit set up, but right now, because of fixing it up, you can't really go there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Where else? Yeah, Deepwater Solo is open all year round, but no one wants to fall in super cold
Okay.
water in the winter.
Wow, super cool. Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, there's not many people I talk to who do that.
No?
No.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean...
It makes you feel alive. Like it's thrilling. It's everything. It's spiritual because...
Yeah, that's what I wanted... Exactly, like, that's what I wanted to get to. I mean, it looks very spiritual to me, you know?
Yeah, it is. Like you're... Basically, someone's beeling you, but it's you by yourself with nature. Your inner voice, everything.
Is there a part of you which also... How can I say that? Like, it's almost like a check on yourself. Like, whether you have the courage to, or the determination to do that. Yeah, no? I think...
Yeah, and it just like puts you in your place as well.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
You can't have an ego like
Whoa!
Yeah, it'll just like shut you down.
That's what I mean. So it keeps your ego in check, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I can relate to that because with flying it was the same.
Yeah.
You know, like once, you know, you can push the glider really low. And we did that and just for fun, you know, there's no reason to do that. Like going really fast and doing a low pass. But once there was this cover from the air brake, in that it got sucked off and the whole thing was like flattering and you know it also humbled me, you know, it showed me like, look, don't do these things, there's no point. You don't want to lose your life like just to have that kind of fun, is it?
No, and also it's like how you react to not being able to do a climb that you really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like whether or not you're super negative about it,
Yeah.
or how you talk to yourself, how you treat the people around you. Like I've climbed with people who get really grumpy and upset when they can do something, and then the opposite where you get like really, really happy. But I think it's very telling of someone how they react.
So how do you deal with that? Let's say you wanted to climb this mountain and it just didn't work.
I'm very, like, honestly, like my expectations of what I can do, I'm very humble in my climbing. Like
Nice.
I don't feel like I'm a super extremely strong, amazing climber. So I'm just happy to climb. Whatever grade I can do.
Nice.
And it's always nice to progress a bit, but it's not why I climb. Like I don't want to climb a 9A in my life. Like I probably never could because I'm not going to train for that.
Never say never.
No, honestly, that's a lot of training.
Sure. Are you familiar with this case of Reinhold Messner, the mountain hiker? This is one of the most famous mountain hikers, and there's this whole case where he and his brother, they tried to climb. You remember the case?
No, I don't think so.
And nobody really knows what happened in the end, but the fact is the brother died, and many people said that the reason for that is that Reinhold Messner wanted to continue, and left his brother behind rather than waiting for him, So his ego kicked in like, I need to finish that no matter what.
Oh, you can talk about documentaries too. I'll talk about two. There's Free Solo and the Dawn Wall.
Yeah, Free Solo and?
Dawn Wall, the Dawn Wall. I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing
it. On
it
Netflix
correctly.
or?
Yeah, I think you can watch them there. But the Free Solo is just a one dude and his ego trip. And the Dawn Wall is two dudes climbing together.
Mm-hmm.
And the documentary is amazing. I much prefer it to Free Solo because he doesn't keep going up until his other partner can do it.
Like, well, that's exactly
and he's really patient, and they're really patient, and they're just doing it together. It's really great.
Awesome. That sounds super interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much like related to that case, I'm going to send you a link. Because 20 years after that, people are still debating and accusing him. And he's not really, he hasn't come clean. He still hasn't really said... I mean, as far as I know, he claims that it wasn't his fault and, his brother took a wrong turn or whatever. But, still, it looks very suspicious. To me, it looks a bit, and I don't want to judge anything, but it looks a bit like he or his ego wanted to finish that climb and, the brother needed help or wasn't up to the job. And, he didn't go back,
That's really sad. Your own brother.
Yeah.
No, I'll look into it. I don't know about it. Huh.
But that makes a lot of sense. So you're basically also taming your ego, no? Like you wanna test yourself.
Yeah, but then you also get your climbers who are like, I just climbed a blah blah blah, or like. But then there are climbers who are just so happy about it, and then you could tell the ones who are like, yeah. But to be truthful, in the climbing community, everyone's super happy for each other. Like, he climbed this, he climbed that. She, the first female who did it's really cool. Everyone's really supportive.
But one has to know the limits as well, is it?
Yeah, but you shouldn't be too obsessive as well.
Yeah. Wow, that's super cool. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Nice. Let's move on to the next topic, if you don't mind. Veganism. So I did this self-experiment a while ago. I tried to be vegetarian for around 9 months, but I couldn't really make it work. Then I did the carnivore diet for another while. It also wasn't really good for me in the end.
I'm just curious, does that make... Because I've heard it makes people's breath really bad.
No, that wasn't the problem.
No?
The good part is you lose loads of weight and stuff. Your digestion can be a bit funny in the first week, for sure. But I have to say, at the beginning, it's super positive, and you think that's a holy grail. That's why this community is very, very into it. But then after a while, in my case, what happened is I was feeling great, but then at some point, the cholesterol values go up, of course, which is expected. But then, even my heart was feeling weird, so I went to the doctor and he said, no, stop it. For you, it doesn't work. For some people, it can work. But what's more interesting? Spiritually, because you're taking all this energy, right, of animals into yourself. Yeah, I'm not sure everybody can deal with that neither. as I told you before, I try to, I have my little altar, I have my cows on there, and I try to worship them and all that, and that worked for me. But to be honest, in my personal case, none of the extreme works. But yeah, let's talk about you. So, how did you find the vegan way? Like, was it out of necessity? Was it out of choice? Was it out of spiritual?
It just started with a project in school because I was like a bit naive about the world. I was a young teenager, rebellious, like goth girl.
Yeah.
And then I started researching sweatshops and how clothing is made. I'm like, whoa, Gap is crap, and like that was like a slogan that I used. And I made stickers and I put it around the school because I didn't realize that children were being used to manufacture clothing.
Yeah.
The conditions were awful. And because of that, I started seeing how animals were kind of treated even worse, and like objects, the environments that they're put in, the torture. It's like, wow, how did I not know about this? No one ever said anything to me. I found it on my own, and it's like, wow.
Sure, they keep it away from the average person as well, no?
Yeah. And there weren't many people around me that even knew about this either, so I just kept it to myself, and gradually, like, I stopped eating pork, I stopped eating chicken, I never really ate lamb, and just gradually cut out animals, like, kind of silently. I was just like, no, I don't want to eat that anymore, I don't want to eat that. Just keeping it to myself, really, and as I got older, I just, like, the last thing was obviously seafood, because, like, where I'm from, it's a very seafood based diet. It's actually I think eel was the last fish that I even had.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other day I saw the most horrible video. I think it was in China or something, and there was this machine. And these little baby chicks were in there, and the machine was like injecting them like one by one. And I used to have this friend in Germany, he used to work in a slaughterhouse. And he also said, you can't even imagine the stuff we see on a daily basis, But he also said, after a few weeks, it becomes normal to
Exactly, you just become desensitized to it. And that's sad, too. Like, just...
I mean, what do you think? Like, look, on the one hand, if you look at nature, I mean, animals are eating each other's babies all day long.
Yeah, no, humans don't eat each other's babies.
Exactly. So as a human species, we moved away from cannibalism, which existed in the pre-human era, isn't it?
In certain tribes, but it didn't exist everywhere. Like.
Yeah, but you're right. So my train of thought is, look, if we are the most developed species, should we not try to move away from the killing?
Yeah, it is. It's like, I don't even think there's a point anymore in looking at the past or the future. We just need to concentrate on what's happening right now as a human race. And basically where we are living currently, like, what can I do where I live that's the most ethical thing that I can do with the knowledge that I have, like with the knowledge that I have, that I'm aware of within myself, with what I expose myself to, because not everyone will know how, like, that an animal is being tortured. Certainly, like, an old granny who's just sitting watching telenovelas, she doesn't know about any of that stuff.
Sure. So, my dilemma is, look, on the one hand, when you look at the world and you see how things are, I mean, in nature, killing is part of the daily reality, right? We have to accept that.
Nature? What nature? Like animals? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
in the animal kingdom. But then again, what you said, I mean, that brings us back to this other discussion, no? Like, there's a difference between the Vikings hunting one big animal, eating it for 3 months.
Yeah, you're going back in the time.
Yeah, but I want to a bit. If you don't mind, because just to understand, right? How did it come? And I understand what you mean. You say, like, look,
humans want to survive and I guess, like, eat whatever is available, right? But they've also discovered that humans actually ate a lot more plants than we did meat and this and that. And that's just going back in time, but it's...
Yeah.
I don't even feel like we need to dive into the past.
I understand. And looking into the future, like, do you think that after 50 years, 100 years, do you think we find other ways to eat, like artificial?
Well, even like right now, most of the food that's grown is fed to animals that we later kill to eat. And those vegetables that we're giving the animals could actually feed the world that's hungry and
Wow.
doesn't have food.
Wow.
So starvation would be actually eliminated if we actually gave the food we're giving to the animals to humans instead.
Ah.
And if you think like, oh, vegan, soy, this and that, most of the soy that's grown is actually given to animals.
Right, right.
And another thing people don't realize is a lot of the fish that are caught with these massive ships in the ocean, that basically raping the ocean,
Yeah,
a lot of those fish are given to animals also to eat.
yeah,
So it's not even for humans.
yeah. Aye. I know. Oof, it's not easy. It's a dilemma, you know?
Yeah, because like visiting huge ships in Africa, like they're catching a lot of different fish. They don't have the means to refrigerate this fish.
No.
They grind them up and this and that, and it's given to animals. I guess.
But that's a very important point. So you're saying like most of the food, no, but even the veggies which are grown, they're actually fed to cows and pigs and all that. No,
Yeah, a lot. It's just crazy how much people don't know. Like and then you're eating salmon because of omega-3. Or you're doing that. Do you know where they get their omega-3 from? Algae. Eat the algae. Don't eat the fish. Because then you're also having toxic metals from the fish.
Yeah.
If you are looking at it from a health standpoint, but then if you're looking at it from an ethical standpoint, why are you eating the fish to begin with? If it's going to be killed, if it's going to feel pain.
Yeah. What's your tip for, let's say, I mean, we like our bodybuilding and stuff.
Yeah, I just like, for me, like when I talk about plant-based diet or veganism, I look at the individual and what it is they value. It's based on your values. What do you value? Do you value fitness? Do you value health? Do you value, like, are you a spiritual person?
Yeah, I understand. Well, that's good. Go on.
Exactly.
Because, like, to be honest, like, it's a bit egocentric to say, like, oh, yeah, I value my fitness, but then the animals have to die, you know?
Yeah. It just depends on the individual, I find.
Yeah.
Because people get defensive. People get very defensive when you talk about certain things.
Sure, but you know what? Even though I can't agree with anything, I love that you are going all the way and you are offering alternatives. And that you're also like someone who knows how to do these things. Like, to be honest, that's what I wanted to say earlier. Like, I realized it's also how you do it, isn't it? Like, I'm sure there's a way to be vegetarian, to still train, to do all these things, but you need to know the tricks, no? You need to know what to do, like where to get the protein from and all that. And
and there's like honestly one of the strongest male climbers in the world. He's vegan,
right?
And he promotes tempeh. Tempeh is a really good source of protein.
What's that?
Tofu. It's fermented soybeans.
Okay.
Like it's really it's got a nice flavor.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I just speak to someone where it is they are in life. Like, if somebody wants to be healthier, I'll tell them all the health benefits of a plant-based diet will have in their lives. If they want a more spiritual route, if they're like, you know. I
mean, in the yogic tradition, most gurus and stuff, they are vegetarian, isn't it?
Yeah, because you want to create the lightest footprint on this flat planet and have the least amount of suffering because of your existence. Why?
Wow, that's beautiful.
And also, if you suffered a lot, perhaps like with health problems, this and that, you also have more empathy, and you don't want other animals or people to suffer.
Absolutely, I hear you. I hear you. I should maybe rethink. I should maybe retry another self-experiment.
Yeah, it's not that hard to be plant-based, especially if you train. Like, people have way more protein than they need.
Right.
So,
I think that's also a valid point.
Yeah. It's and now like you can follow Instagram accounts with a lot of people who have plant-based diets who train.
Right.
And they tell you how much protein to have. They give you recipes. It makes it really easy.
Wow.
For people.
Did you ever think about doing a cooking course?
Possibly, yeah. One day.
I think in Egypt that would also be a good idea. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Because maybe you can show people how to cook tasty vegan meals and all the tricks, no? Because look, for you it may be easy. For me, that's like another world, you know?
Yeah, but I cook really basic stuff at home for myself, like super basic.
Yeah, but even that is not basic for me. Like, you need...
Well, what's a basic meal for you? Like, what is...
For example, I can do like scrambled eggs, like, you know, these kind of things.
You can do scrambled tofu just as easily.
Right. Yeah, I hear you, I like it. I think you have a valid point. In the long run, it's good to rethink. I have to admit, in my personal case, like, you look, I tried all these different things. Now I'm chocolatarian. No, but I really found that my body needs meat. But that's also not...
Why? Why does your body need meat?
It's just a feeling, you know, like it just... you know, like at the end of this experiment, after those months...
But you have an emotion... That means you like have an emotional attachment to what it is you're eating.
Probably because my dad was doing this Persian kebab, you know, these meat...
Yeah, maybe that's why. And you find it hard
it could be.
to give that up because it reminds you of your dad. No, honestly, that's why...
No, exactly, yes, it's valid.
See, that's why it's really hard to have conversations with people about their food because it's so linked to emotion and, you know, family history and
sure, it's part of culture, isn't it?
And culture, pata negra in the kitchen during the holidays, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So that's why it's not a popular thing to be plant-based, especially when a lot of people around you see it as part of their culture, as how they define themselves.
Right, exactly. That's what I also wanted to come to. Yeah, you're right, exactly, no? It's ingrained in the culture, in the environment, like tradition, no? To have a meal with a family.
And your manlyhood too. Your manlyhood depends on the meat you're eating and like...
Yeah, but how do you feel about that? Because you also love nature, and how do you look at that? Not to talk too much about the past, but what's your opinion back then when the tribes were hunting and... I mean, they were killing animals and eating animals.
Yeah, but there's no cognitive dissonance there. Like, they are killing, they're eating, everyone's aware. They feel like it's part of, like, a diet that they need to have. But then they probably don't eat meat every day. They eat it, like, once a week.
Yeah, I find this super interesting. I find it really cool that you are just going for it and living it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that people also change their minds.
Yeah, because animals don't have a voice that humans understand, and if no one speaks on their behalf, their cries go in silence. Like, it's disgusting how humans treat them.
It's so dark, isn't it?
It's very dark. It's a very dark industry. Extremely dark. And the sad thing for me is, like, I know these beautiful people who are loving, who live very beautiful lives, and then it's just watching them drink a glass of milk. Like, it breaks my heart. It's like, do you realize what went into that glass of milk?
Before you said the cognitive dissonance, because we are removed from the act of killing as well.
Exactly, yeah.
But it almost sounded as if you were saying it's better to be actually in the process of killing.
Yeah, because...
But why though?
Because then you're being honest about who you are and what it is you're doing.
Oh.
And
so you take ownership.
Yeah, you take ownership for who you are.
Including the cruelty face to face.
Yeah, you have to bring that onto yourself.
You know, that reminds me, unrelated, but it reminds me of this new warfare where people push a button and a drone, you know, throws a bomb and they're not in the battle fighting sword against sword, you know? Isn't it? There's a bit of similarity in that. It's like, somebody kills it, I'm eating now.
Exactly. There's a lot. No, there's a lot of campaigns still going out now where you sit in a restaurant and it's like, you want really fresh, like, pig? Like, here's the knife, go and kill it. And obviously the person's not going to be able to kill it.
Oh.
Like, it's...
Wow. Wow.
Like, I know for a fact, because it's natural for me, I could go fishing and kill a fish. But now I can't do it. I won't want to kill the fish and give it pain and eat it. But I know I could do that. I could have done that. I've done that in the past. But now... I wouldn't do it. There's no point. I don't need the fish for protein. I can get it from cleaner sources. The omega-3, I can get it from flax seeds. I can get it from walnuts. You just learn that you don't need things from animals. They're not for you. Like, they're not... Their life doesn't exist so that it can sustain you. Like, their life is probably for, like... It's a sea creature. It's probably going to feed something else in the sea that only has that as its main option. You have so many options. Why don't you have that? Don't take the option from something else that's in its actual environment.
Wow. That hits deep. I hear you. Sure, you could now say, well, but the animals, let's for example say the big fish eats a small fish and then this one eats a smaller one, and okay, and then we humans will also eat one. But you know what, I also believe, like, if we are really in another consciousness level, we have to go beyond that at some point, is it? Like, what you say hits deep. It sounds very cruel and brutal, and you're right. It's not that we need to eat that to survive.
No, there's so many, like, healthy option. And also the data backing up a plant-based diet, it reduces this, it prevents you from cancer. Like, it's so healthy to also be plant-based. Like, if you want to do it from like a health standpoint, yes, it's really good for you if you actually educate yourself. Because then there's the uneducated people who say like, but eating meat is really healthy. But no, it's not. Not if you actually look into all the data behind it.
Yeah, you know, in the carnivore community, what people always say, and I guess it's also true for some people, they say if you only eat veggies, oxalates build up in your body. And I think some people are have an allergy against that, but it's a minority, I think. You know, like, what would you say? Are you okay with saying every person has to try what works for them, but has to be aware of the implications?
I say, yeah, everybody is like individual, and you just gotta, discover what's right for you. Because even with myself, I have Crohn's and colitis, and they say a low fiber diet is what you should have. But I eat a lot of fiber. I have a plant-based diet, and I am doing very, very well. I don't take medication, and
so it improves the condition.
Well, it makes it so that I'm not as inflamed. Like, if I were to have a meat diet and have dairy and all that, there's a lot of inflammation in those foods.
Right. Wow, but look, either way, I find it super cool that you're doing this, and I think you should consider, like, courses or something like that. Or maybe something else where you explain to people how this can be done.
Yeah, like, I'm in a point in my life where I don't want to campaign for things.
Yeah.
I want people to come to me to have civilized conversations, to help them, this and that. I don't want to be like, oh, this is the right way. This is what you should be doing. Like,
but listen, I really appreciate that you talk your truth. And it made me think. I have to think about that, really. I will. Because I love animals. And it's still, like, part of me is like, oh my God, what are we doing?
Like, even today, I told my coworker, I think it's hypocritical when someone loves dogs, has 2 dogs, and eats meat.
And cows are amazing animals as well.
And pigs are smarter than dogs. Yeah. So it's like you're eating a pig and then you have a dog as a pet. It's just weird.
And also, you know what I realized, Claire, as well? Like, this whole argument, that you need to eat animal protein to have big muscles. Look, a horse, an elephant, a cow, 3 of the biggest land animals, they're super muscular, aren't they? They're only
gorilla.
Gorilla, and they only eat veggies, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. That's why it's like, come on.
Anyways, look, we can't solve the whole issue in one go, but my personal opinion is, the universe, it designed everything in a way that it's difficult to say this is the way, you know what I mean?
It's just always based on the individual, where they are in their life, where they are on their spiritual journey, their health journey. It's all individual. Yeah. It's what they're willing to be open to and, make themselves aware of.
Wow. But at least trying things is good, to see how does it feel. Is it good for me? Is it not? And then to be aware, like, spiritually, does it make a difference? Can I feel the energy which I take into myself? How can I manage it? I think that's something we can agree on for sure. Trying.
I honestly feel like a plant-based diet makes you more humble.
Wow.
Because
I think there's truth to that.
Yeah, it makes you more humble.
You tell me veggie now. No!
Because it's like, your life is more important than mine, I'm going to eat you. It's like, no, my life is like, we're on the same level.
I think you're right.
I am not here on this, like, we are...
And also, like, when you eat the meat, you get a bit of a testosterone boost and you can push in the gym, and you're right, it's not. And is that more important than the life? No, it's not. Is it?
Nah.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay, that's amazing. I think maybe we move on, because we could talk about this one for hours.
Forever and ever.
But thank you for being honest and for standing your ground, I appreciate that. Because to be honest, most of my friends, when I look around these days, the trend at the moment is more into carnivore, because Joe Rogan and these big people have promoted that a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the veggie trend was kind of over. Like, a few years ago it was big, but now it's a bit down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not as popular right now. Again, because of social media and all these people hyping up meat and stuff.
Exactly, but we have to stay open-minded and we have to try for ourselves.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Claire, let's talk about... we talked about it a little bit, but you personally, your own spirituality, can you give us a bit of insight into your journey? Like, how did it start? I mean, you went to India as well, you did yoga.
Yeah, like I guess my spiritual journey, I guess, started when I'm living in Jib, just having this really strong connection to the sea.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, the sea is like a very strong presence in my life. The energy that it emits,
Wow.
it's huge. I can't live far away from the sea. Like it draws me in.
What do you feel, for example, if you dive and you're in there and it's silent and...
Vulnerable. Yeah, vulnerable. Again, it
Because
puts you
we are
in your
not the
place.
kings there, is it?
Precisely.
We are not the kings there.
Something can eat you, you know, out of nowhere that you can't see underneath you.
Yeah, it can be scary as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very scary.
Hmm. Did you ever see dolphins or whales or...
Oh, I've seen lots of everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
luckily because of Sea Sheperd and traveling.
Can you explain to people? So I also don't fully... So that's a boat and...
Yeah, like they have multiple ships. They're all named different names, and I've been on the Bob Barker. It's no longer in service. Bob Barker donated money to Sea Sheperd, and that's why it's named after him.
Okay.
I've been on the Sea Eagle. It's like an Italian one. On the
And what are they doing on it?
Basically protecting the sea from poaching, illegal fishing, as well as taking out rubbish from the ocean. The majority of the rubbish is produced by the fishing industry.
Yeah.
So, ghost nets. A lot of ghost nets out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and plastic.
Yeah, plastic, but mostly it's fishing gear, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Discarded fishing gear.
So people throwing this away?
Yeah, just like discarding nets. Like even when we were in Italy with this one campaign, fads, which are illegal, like devices that are put in the water so that they create an environment but we documented so many, like hundreds and hundreds in the Med. And in a small area, so many. It's just so much that people don't know.
Can you explain it a bit more? So that's a device they plant in the sea in order to what? To create like
like a bit of an environment so that fish
reef.
are attracted, like there's a bit of shade, and then fishermen will sort of locate themselves around. And
it's always more complex, isn't it?
Yeah, but then there are like long lines that are attached to also like a floating device, and there are hooks all going down, or like between one point to another, and the turtles would be caught in these hooks. We freed them.
So what? So these are so basically fishing devices like a trap, is it? Or how can I imagine that? It's like a trap.
Yeah,
for
like
fish.
hooks. Yeah. And then the big campaign, the one that was closest to my heart because it was octopus campaign. You have these plastic, sort of like housing for octopus, and they put like weight on the bottom so that they sit on the bottom of the sea, and an octopus will mistake it as a home, and that's how they fish them out and trap them. And they even do this during the time in which the female octopus lays her eggs. So yeah, it's very awful, quite illegal during certain times of the year, and luckily Sea Sheperd is able to take out and confiscate a lot of this.
Great.
gear.
Is it an NGO or how are they supported?
Yeah, it's an NGO. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You remember Greenpeace was so big in the 90s. I loved
Paul
it.
Watson, the founder of Greenpeace, he's the one who, well, not the founder, he's the founder of Sea Sheperd.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's part of Greenpeace.
Okay.
And now he's doing his own thing.
Oh, right. It was amazing. You remember when they went after the whale hunters and all that, no?
Yeah, the show.
Yeah. But recently I haven't heard much about that. Is it still going on?
Right now, Sea Sheperd is focused quite a bit on krill fishing in Antarctica. It's supposed to feed the whales, and we catch them to dye food and use it to feed. Yeah, it's really, it's not cool.
Oh my god, it sounds so dark.
No, I know, there's a lot happening in the world that people aren't aware of. Yes.
And it's easy also to know about it, but it's not part of your daily reality. You're like,
No, exactly, you don't care, but then it's like, that's the whole spiritual aspect of it all. It's like, everything is connected, we are all one. This is our planet. We're here to protect it, to love it, to nurture it, ourselves, everything. So it's like, how can you ignore one part of the world while you're happy in your own little reality? It's like, we're all connected.
100%. No, oneness is a real thing. What we do to ourselves in the end, isn't it? Whether it's cruel or whether... Yeah, I agree with that. These are strong arguments, and but still, it sounds so dark. But then I also believe, like, when you look at the world and the history, many things also improved, especially in the last 10 years, no? Like,
yeah, like honestly, the what I was talking about, the octopus campaign, it's basically for an endangered monk seal, and the monk seal has been shown to have it like this. They're breeding again, most in certain areas.
Yeah, they're also positive. You know, to be honest with you, even, you know, when people say, all the plastic in the ocean, you know, my hope is that nature is smarter than that, and then some algae develops a countermeasure. But of course, you can't assume that neither, is it? Like, it may happen or may not happen, right? So maybe we should be on the safe side and be more aware, no?
Yeah.
What can the average person do, Claire, to prevent these problems? Like here, even here at the beach, like, what should people not do?
No, whenever you go to the beach or you just pick up garbage that you see, just don't leave it there. If you're aware of it, it's your responsibility. So just
we should do a beach clean.
Yeah, let's do a beach clean.
Beach clean. Who's in? Let's do it. Come on, guys. Has been a while. We have to do another one, okay? By the way, there's this beautiful woman. You find it on the other channel, who I found one day. She was just cleaning the beach on her own. This angel.
Awesome.
What a cute woman. Shout out to you. Yeah, no, so don't throw stuff in the sea.
Yeah.
Clean up.
Don't throw wipes down the toilet either. It's a big deal here. Like, people are putting wipes in the toilet. They flush it down, and even in Caleta, you'll see that they're caught on the rocks. That's what they are. It's people putting wipes, flushing them down the toilet.
But what? Which kind of wipes?
The wipes that you know, like the wet.
The wet wipes.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Don't use wet wipes. Like, no.
Right. Yeah.
If you want to discard them, put them in the rubbish. Don't flush them down the toilet.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. What else? Is there anything which comes to your mind where you're like, come on, guys, this can't be. We have to do better.
No, there's a lot of things in Gib that they can improve.
Like what?
Just the whole process is so, like, Gibraltar's quite old.
Yeah.
But as an individual, just buy more locally.
Yeah.
Support small businesses. Don't always shop in Morrison's or at Oski. Like.
Right. The mass markets.
Yeah. And support local restaurants. For sure. Like Sam's Kitchen.
All right, let's talk about that. So where can people eat your food?
Yeah, it's just in between Main Street and Irish Town. It's the arcade.
All right, okay.
Yeah. It's where Bread Bin used to be. Like, that's how I describe it to people. Nice. Because they seem to know what that place was. That place seemed quite popular.
Yeah, I used to go there years ago, but I haven't been recently. So there people can go and eat your food, no?
Yeah.
There you go.
Plant-based options.
Wow.
Even if you just eat plant-based once a week, it makes a difference.
Right, that's what I wanted to say as well. Is that a good compromise for now?
Yeah.
1 day, 2 days per week.
Yep.
No meat.
100%.
Deal.
John, was it the one of the Beatles? He promoted the Meatless Monday. Not Lennon. I'm not remembering now.
Meatless Monday.
Yeah, Meatless Monday. He promoted something like that.
Nice.
Because his wife was vegetarian.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a great idea. That's, like a good suggestion. Simple things we can change and which maybe make an impact and change our mindset over time and make us feel also like other ways of living. Personally, I'm very at the moment into this Castaneda world, and there's this one practice known as stalking. So you change your habits all the time.
Yeah.
Because if you have one habit, it can limit your consciousness.
It really does. Yeah.
So, you switch, like you try the other way, like up to the point where maybe you take a different road to work, like you always change to be more fluid, to not be so fixed in your mindset.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's for everyone. It's a good idea, like changing a habit.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, you're not living in like a tiny little reality.
Exactly, and then also you become, you have convenience, you have comfort, and then, what's the right word? Look, you just get used to things and you assume that's how it is. You're not rethinking, you're not thinking outside of the box again, no?
Yeah.
You say like, that's how it is, and then if other people do it as well, and it's a social norm, you're like, okay, that's a social norm, that's how it is.
I know, but it's like, I feel like I'm an introvert, so I find being vegan quite easy also. That's something I should also mention. Like, I'm a bit of an introvert, I don't mind being alone, spending time alone, this and that, so I don't really care that if I go to a social event, I'm bringing my own food or there's nothing available. No, I don't care. Like I'm at this point where I really don't care. But then people who are super social struggle because they feel like an outsider, an outcast, and they want to be part of the flow of conversation.
So how can they deal with that?
Like I think it's harder for an extrovert, and it's like. We just need more people who are plant-based so the extroverts can feel comfortable. So, that's just what it is.
Wow. So I think the right word is you are quite stoic. I like that, You do your thing, yeah. But sometimes it can be hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can be hard.
I don't mind being an outcast, extra, I don't mind.
I'm a bit similar, but probably not to that degree. Sometimes I need a bit of the social thing as well.
Yeah, that's what climbing does that for me.
Yeah.
That's what, definitely.
But I really respect that, it's super cool. When I was very young, I didn't drink alcohol until like my mid-30s. And that also put me in this position, when people were drinking and feeling cool, and I didn't want to do that.
Exactly. That's how I am on a daily basis with food.
Yeah, sure. But that's powerful. And you know what? If we don't have people like that, then there can be no growth.
Exactly. Yeah.
We need that.
Be the change you wish to see in the world.
No, I really feel that. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's not easy. Like.
No.
No, it's not always easy, especially family events, this and that.
Yeah.
You get teased,
to be honest, like this was the point where I was breaking.
Yeah.
Like, my dad made this food, and I was like, I can't just eat rice now. But
I recently went to my aunt's here in Galeta for Easter, and I ate potaje from the day before because it's vegan. And there's I forget what it's called, but it's like chickpea flour. You cook it on the stove, then you let it cool, and then you deep fry it. I had that.
Yeah.
And that's also just nice. It's easier during Easter to have vegan stuff than it is Christmas.
Sure. But the more people try to live that way, the more infrastructure there will be as well. No? At the moment, it's a bit underdeveloped, but I guess if more people go that way, there will be more shops, there will be more restaurants. Even though in Jib there are quite a few restaurants where you can eat.
Oh, there's lots. The options are growing and growing here, 100%. And in London, there's crazy amount of options. Berlin.
Yeah.
It's the big cities that really are convenient for people who eat plants. So, and I'm going to London this weekend. I'm eating in Pied de Terre, and they have a vegan tasting menu.
Wow.
It's a Michelin place, and
right.
there's quite a few of them in London.
Super. Well, we have to go step by step.
Yeah.
But it's a start. But super cool that you are promoting this, and it takes time as well,
Yeah, but I honestly feel like people won't have an option in the future. I feel like disease is going to spread so much to animals, this and that eating meat itself is no longer going to be healthy. So people won't have a choice but to eat vegetables. That's how I see it in the future. Because of the amount of
the injections
we're giving animals, diseases, I don't think it's sustainable.
And also when you think about the whole cycle, right? I mean, the animals they eat, even the food they eat, it was obviously subject to pesticides, and to be honest, but if you think that way, then you will end up realizing that. Look, every day when we wake up, what do? Yeah, we put creams on our face, deodorant. We're bombarding the body with chemicals, aren't we?
Yeah.
I realized the other day, I was like, wait a second, think about that, right? Look,
you don't wear deodorant, put shea butter on your face, get toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride in it.
Yeah.
Do these 3 things in the morning, you're already setting yourself up for a better day.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, you're right. But the more you think about it, the more you realize you're bombarding the body, isn't it? That can't be good neither. And
yeah, so as they say, 15 minutes in the sauna, continuously wiping your sweat off really detoxes your body.
Right, to sweat out all the chemicals.
Yeah, don't leave the sweat on your body, wipe it off while you're sweating.
Otherwise it comes back into
you're just reabsorbing
the skin, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Oh. It's one thing that people don't realize when in the sauna. That's why you need the towel, to wipe your sweat off yourself.
Another nice trick. But when you think that way, even, your underwear, when you start sweating, also the chemicals come out and get into your skin, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. No, but you just start. I'm at the point where I've already thought of all these things and already done all these things. I buy soap without SLS in it. All my products haven't been tested on animals. It's
super.
You just start little by little until the point where you look around yourself and you're like, wow, everything I'm wearing was given to me.
Yeah.
My husband gave me this, my friend gave me this.
Yeah.
And like this was made by my mala was made by a really amazing man in Nepal. Like you look around and you eventually your environment becomes who you are on the inside.
Yeah. And if you look at the statistics recently, I was seeing, the growth in conditions such as autism, ADHD. I mean, it's exploding, right? I mean, some people are saying because we can measure more, it looks too high, but there's definitely an increase, and it comes probably from processed food, these chemicals, electrosmog, metals in the water.
Social media too, though. Yeah, exposing ourselves to too much of that.
Yeah.
But I also think it's like overly prescribed medication.
Yeah, 100%. Big pharma. And it's like you say, it's mental stress. It's business stuff, no?
Yeah.
It stresses you in the night. You think you sleep and you don't sleep properly. All these things, isn't it? And I feel part of it is completely mental, which translates into your physical...
100%.
Yeah. So, mindfulness practices and meditation is so important.
Hugely important.
Yeah.
Hugely. You have to calm your nervous system down.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you can't be in the fight or flight mode. If you continue in that mode, you're just going to deteriorate. Your body's just going to shut down.
Well, I should listen to that.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to fall into this, right?
It comes in whispers, and then it screams in your face.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when the disease is present, like...
We don't want that.
No, you want to avoid that.
You're right. I should really listen to that advice.
Yeah. But it also doesn't mean that you're weak if you do have a disease or if you do get sick. It sometimes just means that you're giving too much and not giving yourself enough. Like it's not a weakness. It actually can be a strength.
Talking really wisdom here. I love it.
Yeah.
It's not all just complete clarity and all just love. And you also have a shadow. Everyone has a shadow.
Oh,
we all have the shadow.
Everyone has a shadow.
Yeah. And to acknowledge that and to work on it is better than
Yeah.
saying it's all love. But then again, I also need, there are those times where I just need that love thing,
Yeah, yeah. No, like, the toxic spirituality that I'm talking about is just how there's no room for negativity. There's no...
Right.
Like you're just talking about shadows now as well. And then, because I have a friend who's been sick for a really long time, and she talks about that, how people think she's weak or that she's not aligned because she's sick, and like that's not how it works.
I wanted to ask you that. Do you think that that's a necessity, right? For real growth, you have to suffer.
100%. 100%.
Yes.
The more mistakes
to come back
you
to
make,
the cliff, you know what I mean?
The more suffering.
Exactly. You stand at the cliff, then the truth comes out, not when you sit in a nice home,
No. You don't test yourself, you're never gonna know.
I think that's a core.
Like the most humble people that I know are in constant pain. Like my mom, for example, is in constant pain every day. She's the sweetest, most patient, humble, loving, and it's like, oh, she's sick because she's not. It's not a. No one, like there's no God pointing down saying you have zero sickness because you are aligned or no.
Exactly.
No.
I think it's the opposite almost. No.
Like Edgar Tolle, like that spiritual guy. I forget. Like he has beautiful quotes, this and that.
Yeah.
He had bowel issues. And also that usually is a result of a very empathetic person.
Yeah.
And women tend to have more of those issues than men because they take on more of other people's problems, emotions.
More compassionate.
Of their environment.
I would go further. I would even say that, the universe gives the hardest stuff to the best people.
It's like God doesn't give you anything you can't handle, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These days, like when I see somebody like you, with really a special energy, I know there's always like a big path behind that,
Yeah.
Spiritual narcissism. I feel what happens also naturally to everyone, like when you grow and when you realize that there's more reality than what you can see,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
And when you have the first realizations and insights, at the beginning you feel, I know something more than others. And I think that can quickly lead to spiritual narcissism, right? And then it takes a whole other the development to realize, like, no, wait a second, like, you do nothing more. But I find that really amusing because that's a human mind as well, right? Look, for example, Sadhguru, There was a time I really liked him, and then there was a time I couldn't stand him. If I listen to him, all I hear is ego. But now again, I changed again, and I was like, wait a second, you know, there's a place for that, you know. There is a place for that.
I like his whole save soil. Like, it's very important, hugely important. Yeah. And India is so polluted, and
oh yeah, absolutely.
India needs someone like him in a way, like
100%, and you know, 100%, and also like even spiritually, like some people are in a certain part of the journey. Yeah. They need to hear these talks. It's good. You understand? So I'm saying like, look, it's agreeing with me. So I'm saying like, there's a place for that. So these days I'm trying to be really tolerant, even when it comes to religion. You know, like I'm also becoming more tolerant again. Because when you grow spiritually, you think like, oh, what, you know, like dogma, belief system, rules, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, doesn't matter, no? Like you should do that, you shouldn't do that. But these days I'm also softer. I think like some people, they need the cultural context for the spirituality, you know? It's okay as long as they don't impose on others.
Exactly. If you're not trying to impose your beliefs down somebody else's throat.
That's a line, you know? Then it gets dark again, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you say, oh, you shouldn't do that. And for example, discrimination against homosexual people, that's not okay. But you know, it has changed as well. Looking at the world and even the old religions, they are slowly also adjusting. You know, they realize like, wait a second, if it comes out of love, so what you want to say this kind of love is wrong? Who are you to say that, right? I think that's the only way for them to survive in the long run, to adapt a bit, you know, and to say, wait a second, we have to rethink some things. They're not set in stone. Right, the world changes. You have to adjust, and look, they can keep the core values, and there are many things I respect. For example, looking at Muslims, I respect this impeccability of praying 5 times a day, no matter what. I respect that, you know.
Yeah, but then again, the amount of abuse towards women.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's all this.
That's what I find is very commonplace in a lot of religions. Is the suppression of women, and that's
in all of them.
Every single one of them, even Buddhism.
Yes.
So that's why, like, there are a lot of things in every religion that I agree with, but so many things I don't.
No.
So many things I don't. So it's just like, okay, there are some core beliefs that are quite great. A lot of them that aren't.
Yeah.
So that's basically just how I see it. I don't think religion is insanely positive.
Yeah.
It gives people a sense of comfort. Because the majority of people just mainly fear death. They mainly...
Yeah.
They don't know what's going to happen after you die, and it just...
What do you think will happen?
I have a whole thought about it. Well, I feel like we are all energy.
Yeah.
We all come from the same source of energy. We're put into these bodies to have an experience. And when we die, that energy goes back to the source.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's all it is. I think it's very simple.
I think there's no point in having any fear of death.
No, there isn't, because naturally your body's gonna, if it is a natural death, like your body's gonna deteriorate and go back into the soil. You're gonna get back to the earth. But nowadays,
by the way, veggies are eating us and fungi, isn't it? Isn't that ironic?
It'd be
so
great.
When we die, you know.
Yeah, it'd be great if somebody else had me when I died. Yeah, for sure.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like the body your ego, your identity, everything gets destroyed. But I also think like your soul energy.
Yeah, like it's funny. I was just thinking, it's like people think that the form that they have right now is the form that's going to exist after they die.
No,
and they're just going to be walking around and like, really? You think that? I don't know.
No, that won't happen. But your energy, different topic. Energy, you know, I learned now via the whole Castaneda practice that you can assemble energy, and then if your physical body dies and goes away, you may still be there in this energy form. I'm very sure that, like you said beautifully, it goes back to source.
Yeah, exactly.
We came from there.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to ask you.
And like your ego dies.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why it's so important to have a human experience, to live your life, the awareness, to know about your ego, your darkness, this and that, because it's gonna when you die. But then I also question, like, okay, what is the purpose in having an ego in this human experience? To do what? Like,
to function.
Yeah, to function. But then, like, are we supposed to create a certain energy while we're alive to help something learn from something, or are we an example? What is the purpose of the ego separate from the source? Like, why?
I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like this dilemma.
And that's the question of, like, that's why religions exist and all of that. And then it's, for me, as a person who's seeking like answers in any sort of way from anywhere, from anyone, any moment. It's always something that I still isn't answered and will never be answered.
Yeah, but look, I don't. That's interesting. I feel, look, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
This contradiction. You know
exactly.
what I mean? Look, even coming back to like food and stuff, sometimes it's a bit of a dilemma. You know what I think, Claire? I think this reality is designed in a way, putting us into those situations, so that the only way to increase your awareness and consciousness is to be confronted with all these things, and that includes the ego, of course. Look, we all have the ego, and by the way, no kind of experience and whatever will ever completely disassemble your ego. It will always be there, and I think it's maybe about working with it.
Yeah, it
and
grounds you. It's good to have. Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, like it's part of you. You're also the
exactly.
ego.
You are your ego.
Yeah.
Like, there's no separation.
Yeah,
if you didn't have an ego, you wouldn't exist.
Exactly, and maybe it's a shadow side. But even then, right? If we wouldn't have that, that would also be weird. Then it would all be.
No, we have the polarities existing.
That's what I'm
us,
trying to say. Yeah.
Or else we wouldn't know what they were. Like, we have to
Yeah.
be both to have the middle.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. In this,
and you're saying like toxic spirituality focuses on the one aspect of a person's personality without both. It's like, no, you are both. You have to have both. You are.
Yeah. Would you agree to this simplified statement? In this reality, it's all duality, black, white, male, female, up, down. And then, in the higher consciousness, it's all one. Would you agree to that, or is it too simple?
No, well.
So if that's the case, then this reality is determined by duality. So then there won't be a perfect way anyways, is it? I think, you know what, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't have the answer, but I feel it's designed like that on purpose, so that we sit here and talk about it and think. That's what I think.
And I always think it just like, I always just think of Hinduism mostly, and all the gods and.
Yeah, like Shiva.
Exactly.
Then Kali. Kali, the destructor, right? The one who chops the heads. Inner silence, like what I learned now, and that's the whole Castaneda way. And I don't want to promote it too much, but. There it's like that. It's all inner silence, and you have the answers within.
100% within, yeah.
There's no belief system, there's no dogma.
Even right now, I actually made a social media post saying that if somebody defines themselves as very spiritual and they're trying to give you advice about your path, do not take it seriously. Just think of it as a reflection of themselves onto you, their life path and their beliefs. Don't take it in as them defining you to
That's
yourself.
Very good advice.
And I said, you are your own guide. Listen to yourself. You have your own answers. And at the end I said, don't listen to me. I don't listen to anyone.
Yes, and also everybody can develop psychic abilities. If you're serious about it and you want to invest the years, and there are traditions like Dzogchen or Castaneda, there are traditions where you can learn to develop psychic abilities and get answers yourself. You don't need a middleman. Some people need a middleman, but like you said beautifully, be careful and
don't try to dive into the world of drugs to connect with the source because you don't feel like you can do it on your own. That's another thing too that scares me sometimes when I meet spiritual people and they keep going into that sort of state of mind. Yeah. It's like, you don't need the drugs. Maybe you needed the drugs to show you that is a possibility of like a different sort of perspective, but you don't need to keep diving into that to feel a connection.
By the way, we have a podcast coming up only on this topic in a few weeks. Power plants, psychedelics, and what you said is, I agree 100%. I'm not against psychedelics. I'm in favor of full decriminalization, but I'm not in favor of free availabiliity. These are tools which can be very dangerous as well.
They can. Yeah. People can become schizophrenic. They can lose their minds. Especially if it runs in their family. Yes. If I know that schizophrenia runs in someone's family, I'm like, please stop. Don't take drugs.
And I actually know personally, cases like that. And sorry to come back to the Castaneda thing, but just for you to understand, the whole point is literally to not need any tool or power plant or substance.
Nothing.
Because you can do all of that energetically. In that world, it's known as the assemblage point and the J curve. So you have like a luminous egg around your body, an energy body, and you learn naturally without substances to move your assemblage point, and this changes your perception, and it's incredible. It may sound crazy, but it's serious. And that's by the way why I got there, because I was like you, I felt like now to use substances, that's like a cheat. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right.
It's only momentary as well.
Yeah.
Very momentary.
Yeah. And it takes a toll on the body as well. It does.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But also I want to be honest and say, like in my case, when I was younger, I came from this Western education, Western mind, and I needed a kick in the I needed that. I needed to see that my eyes are open, I'm conscious, and I can see something I can't see otherwise. Just that experience, to be honest, it was life-changing for me. It changed the script. So there is also a benefit, but like you beautifully said, don't fall in love with it.
No, it's a tool.
Oh.
It's not meant to be a permanent band-aid.
No, it's like a knife. No, you can cut a bread or you can cut yourself.
Yeah. And it becomes an addiction.
Yes.
Even in a spiritual way.
Like Terence McKenna said, once you got the message, hang up the phone.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Super cool. Okay, good. We're coming to the end, Claire. We are talking now about your documentary.
That's right. Which I've been working on. It's going to be a work in progress for quite a few years because I need to do a lot more traveling. It's basically the connection between plant-based diet and spirituality. Because elevating your body from within and the outside, what you put in it, really, really matters. Like where it comes from, the energy behind what it is you're eating. Sort of like the lifestyle that you have, and
wow. So you're trying to document these interconnections.
Yeah, and I my favorite place right now is in a place in Nepal. It's like a vegan raw, so they only cook to like a certain temperature.
Wow.
And they would meditate every single day. They had a certain not gods, they're like what do you call it, gurus that they had, and it's like really the older men as well, and there's quite a few of them that are vegan because of their spirituality, because they want to have a clean inner body, to have a cleaner, more deeper connection with their God.
Sure. Wow, listen, Gibraltar, all the trusts, the NGOs, the charities, okay? Listen, alright? If you're interested in supporting that, please don't be shy, okay? It's not enough to give each other prizes. If we want these cool things to happen and take place, we need to support the people who are doing it, and I think that would be amazing to have this documentary. And whether you agree with veganism or not, this is another perspective. You know.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen this sort of perspective.
No, I don't think so.
No.
What's your vision in terms of because I love filmmaking as well. What's your vision of capturing that? Capturing that like in a few scenes, like.
I mean, like in essence of where this person lives, a bit of their lifestyle, and just sit down interview with them.
Right.
Which is what I pretty much have so far.
Cool.
But not enough. I need to do a lot more travel.
So you want to take the footage and then put it together into like a 1 hour documentary?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
A global perspective.
Super cool. Yeah, this is a lot of work, and but I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, because I'm not vegan because of any other reason. That for me it's mostly spirituality, and ethically I can't have it.
Yeah, I realize that now. I find it very cool. It's like you're living what you believe in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Without compromises.
Yeah, and I also don't want to be a hypocrite in any sense. I don't want to say this and do something else. I don't want to have this sort of perspective and then go against it. I just wouldn't sleep well at night. I'm like, who am I? What life am I living? Like, what am I doing with myself? Like,
sure, but then again, life often has also contradictions, isn't it? Sometimes, to accept contradictions is not wrong neither. But either way, to think about it, to be aware and to try, I think that's either way always important, no?
Yeah. But then again, I don't want to convince anyone of anything. It's your own path, your own everything. I'm just here talking based on my perspectives and beliefs, but this isn't meant to make anyone feel attacked or that what I feel that they're doing is wrong.
And by the way, I had to get her to come. Like I was literally like chasing.
I don't really like talking about it much anymore.
I know. Yeah.
People are just like, they get attacked or they say things. Like,
well, but you know what? The way you talk today, I mean, I find that really thought-provoking, and that's so. These things have to happen. This is the only way. Otherwise, exactly, you're not trying to impose anything. Just to be clear,
I'm just living my life. Living my life according to my own morals. Like, I'm working in the only plant-based kitchen in Gibraltar.
So cool.
I bike to work or take the bus.
Oh.
Very low impact life. Here, I'm able to. And that's why I don't want to live somewhere that I have to drive a car to get to work.
Yeah.
Drive this and that. It's like, nah.
That's the beauty about Jib, isn't it?
Yeah, you can just walk everywhere, take your bike. The bus system's amazing as well.
In Germany, that's, it's part of the culture to drive by car. And, it's so weird. It's
Canada too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. The Americans also, no, they go everywhere by car, no matter whether it's 50 meters.
But even in Jib, people drive their cars a lot.
But these days, with all the parking, not so easy anymore.
Yeah, very true.
Wow. This is super cool. Let me just quickly check. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff, and I think it's enough for now. Thank you, Claire, for doing this, that you took the time, that you stood your ground, that you made us think, that you came with very powerful arguments, this is, I think, beautiful. This is what we are trying to do, to capture those moments and authentic expressions of truth. And only that way we can rethink and change, and at least try to change or acknowledge our weaknesses and shortcomings, and trying to deal with that. But I think that was super powerful. We talked about many topics. Just to summarize, remember the photography project we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah, empower women and their sexuality.
Yeah. Please don't be shy. Reach out. Maybe you can...
The visionaries.
You can send me some links I can put in the description.
Yeah,
right?
that'd be great. Yeah.
So that people have a point of contact.
Yeah, cool.
People are interested in trying that. I think that's so exciting. Regarding the food, they can come to Sam's Kitchen.
Yeah, Sam's Kitchen.
Maybe you consider in the future to do a course or something to...
Yeah, I'll probably have some, like, how to cook a quick meal.
Yeah, something, no? Like, I don't have...
How much protein you need.
Yeah!
But
No,
basically,
seriously.
more important things, like, make sure you're having... People even who eat meat don't get enough B12, like, certain, like, vitamins that you need that you're not getting.
Yeah. Thank you also, like, I found very fascinating your whole spiritual aspect. We didn't talk about everything, but we can do another podcast, of course, as we actually had planned. And maybe there we can also go a bit more to depth about your own travels, what you saw there, and all these kind of things. But we can't cover everything in one go neither. The documentary, again, trusts, please look at this. I find it very cool. Okay, we have special people, and it's good to support that. And then, the result will be even more special. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being honest, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
And for putting it into a beautiful set of ideas.
Thank you.
Adios!